Hey guys, it's Tony with Geek Designs. Today I'm back with another graphic design video. Today I want to talk to you guys about how do you build a graphic design portfolio in 2018. I've seen this question come up a lot. How do I build a portfolio? How do I get portfolio pieces in a portfolio? Or how do I even start building a foundation for a portfolio? So we're going to cover these topics and also what are some platforms that you should consider when building a portfolio. We'll hit that a little bit later on, but remember, design videos come out Monday, so get subscribed for that if you haven't already. So the best tool any graphic designer has is their portfolio. That's everyone should understand that. Um, but how do you build a portfolio? That's a little bit harder. The first tip I'll give anyone that wants to build a portfolio is find your niche, or start targeting towards a niche with your portfolio. It's good to be an all-around designer, but it's also good to be a niche designer. It's easier to get a job that way. It's easier to pick up clients that way. If you're a logo designer, you can have a portfolio filled with logos and not worry about the print design, worry about the web design, worry about all the other stuff. Just bring it to your client. Say, hey, you're looking for a logo? I've done a bunch of them here. Some examples of big ones, or ones that were successful, or ones that were pinnacle projects that I want you to know about. So maybe find a niche. Start there. Maybe you want to be a logo designer. Maybe you want to be a web designer. Maybe you want to print design. Maybe you just want to design a certain industry. Like maybe you just want to be a manufacturer designer. You just want to design graphics for manufacturers. Or maybe you just want to design stuff for salons or small businesses. So find a niche, start there, and then look at what do those niches really need and what do those niches want to see for portfolios. So let's talk about if you don't have clients and you need to build a portfolio piece. What do you build that portfolio piece as? What do you include in it? What don't you include in it? And how do you build the portfolio piece? Well, you're going to want to build a case study first. You're going to build a customer profile. Who's the customer? What are their needs? What is their job? What is their company? Etc. You want to build that so you can then go, okay, I'm going to attack this as this is it's a customer that does, let's say, quilting. They do quilting supplies, crafting supplies. Their demographic is elderly, and they're a small business that make maybe less than 100K a year. It's just rough numbers, rough idea. And what do they need? They need a website, they need a rebrand, they need to attract a younger demographic. Well, that's a big task on itself. And now you can start tackling it as an actual client. You start with a design brief. You start with what are their customers' needs and wants? What are the customer issues with their current stuff? And you're going to do this, but act yourself also as the client. Or find someone else who maybe is so removed from your work that they can step in as the makeshift client and give you feedback as you're working on this portfolio piece. And this is one of the best things that you can do to start building a portfolio. Show fake work or work that's not client work and present it as actual client work. But when you present it to a client and they ask you how was this project working with the client, you need to be honest with them and say this was a piece to build my portfolio, but I think it's still a good solid piece that showcases my work. Showcases my work because of the skills that I've implemented on it, but it also showcases my work because I looked at it outside the box and figured out what this customer's problems might have been, or could have been, or actually were. So I think that's a good way to start building a portfolio and actually get you a good understanding of how your clients will work with you and what their issues will be going forward. Another great way to build portfolio pieces for your portfolio is doing free work. It's not going to be glamorous. You're not going to get paid, but hey, it's a start. There's also a bunch of other ways. You can work with your friends, your family. These people will give you a chance before anyone else. But this kind of overlaps with another video I did about how to get your first client. I'd check it up in the card above to get some more information on that. And I would take those tips and bring them into this topic and kind of merge them with what I talked about earlier. So you're going to take what you need to get your first clients, what you need to get build a portfolio, and we're going to now talk about what do you need to put in your portfolio to make it attractive for people hiring or even clients. So when it comes to what you're going to put in your portfolio when you're building your portfolio, there's a couple things you can do. I would suggest probably the first thing that you can do is not just put pictures of your work and say, hey, here's this work, this is the client, this is their needs. No, you want to tell the full story of what went into the project. Here were the client's needs. Why did they need those needs met? Was there issues with growth? Was there issues with not reaching certain demographics? Was their brand message miscommunicating? And then from there, you go, well, these are what I saw issues with also. This is how I addressed those issues. This is where we met our middle ground. And here's the end result. This is why the logo meets those needs. This is why the branding meets these needs. This is why the print design meets these needs. The website meets these needs. And if possible, here's the results afterwards. Branding, the branding increased. They reached their demographic they were looking for and beyond. Their website got X amount of traffic and got into a less bounce rate and got people further down the website or reaching certain pages that they wanted, etc. You just got to go deep into it. You got to build basically a case study of your client's work and what the project was, what were their needs, and give all this detail. This detail will boast that work. It'll make that work not just look good, but also functional. And then you can say, oh, well, you're a client looking for this need, and you're looking for a branding package and a website. Here's a case study of a project I did with a client. And you know what? It's just very similar to your needs, just different industry. We'll take maybe some things I learned from here, bring them over to here, and implement them in with you. Now I want to briefly go over how you should present your portfolio or what platforms you should build your portfolio on. I recently did a video on this whole topic. You can check it up in the card above if you want to go into more detail about some of these things I'm going to talk about. But here's the rundown. No print portfolio. Print portfolios are kind of dead. Maybe they might be useful in other countries that don't have internet access as well, or maybe aren't up to certain trends, but majority of print portfolios are dead now. They are not used anymore. People don't really want them shipped to them and ship them back to you. So you need a digital portfolio. A digital PDF with interactive elements is a good one, but it can clog up inboxes depending on the size, so keep that in mind. Websites are best. You can use Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, Code Your Own. There's plenty of options for websites out there. Those are the two I would suggest for what your portfolio should be. How it should be laid out, how it should be done, that's up to you. You need to figure out how to present yourself. How do I do my portfolio? I use my website. I don't really have a PDF anymore. I used Behance at one point, but I don't use it anymore. Behance is another good option if you want to use it. It's free. It's got a community behind it. There's some things that have issues with it. I would check the video that I talked about earlier of what best platforms are for portfolios. But I think that's all I got for this one, guys. If you have any questions, if you have any other topics you would like me to discuss, just leave them down in the comments down below and I'll get down there with you. Remember, design videos come out Mondays, so get subscribed to that if you haven't already. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.